Well, hello everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I think I changed this thing over okay. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows anymore? Let's see if this is even working. Um, if you can hear me, I'd appreciate it if you let me know that. I gotta put all this stuff in a box. Matter of fact, I gotta get a small box. I gotta send something to my pal Steve. I got a bunch of cards that I don't care. You see, I have a binder, and all I have in that binder is Seahawks and Maple Leafs. So I went out because, of course, I fell sucker because the minute I saw, on the cover, Austin Matthews, I bought a box of that stuff. Hey, Monster, how you doing? And decided to go through it. So I've just had a bunch of cards like this Connor David. I guess is worth like $30 or something. It's some kind of glitter bomb thing, number 97 from this year. I don't care. I send it to my buddy Steve, who owns a card store, who used to own Miniature Market, and let him do what he wants with it. He's always been good to me anyway, so he always sends the kids Pokemon cards and things like that. So I'm just looking at this big pile, and I just got to get it out of here, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. I got bolt dogs under here today. Boy, aren't I lucky. I gotta be careful with the wheels here. I don't want to hit Bella. This week is the first week of May. I gotta move some videos around. I got one. I did like a Kickstarter thing for somebody for the cyberpunk thing. It's pretty decent. It's the funniest thing though. It's a new company, and they're excited about their card game, and their card game is pretty cool. I took a look at it, and I went, okay, this is decent. Well, I get this thing. I get this letter saying, hey, when if you want, you can make the video for it. We sent you the thing, so forth and so on. And I always try to help out, smaller companies. Let's see if I can find. I don't know if I have it in here. Hold on. Oh, I hope I do, because I got to read this to you, because I felt like replying and saying a few things. Oh, I'll find it. Oh, here we go. Seymour. Okay. So I told him I had planned it for March 9th, or May 10th. He says, hey, thanks for the update. That's great to hear. Thank you for rescheduling it to your lineup with our launch day. We really appreciate it, which I have no problem with. The thing that got me was, hey, Rob, hope you've been good. I just wanted to follow up and see if the demo kit of this game we sent had arrived. Our Kickstarter is launching in 9 days on May 1st. We're super excited. I can't stand that word. I hate that word. Super excited. How about just excited? Excited is good enough. To finally be able to share this game with the world, which it's a very good game. If you're interested in creating and making some content around the game, then our launch day is May 1st. Would be a great time to release it. Well, I had already shot it. The way I scheduled everything out, because I'm trying to do some new things. I wanted to do it that way. We have content dropping from, and then they named these people who: Danny Mata, Wizard in a T-shirt, Covert Go Blue, Suze, Infinity Brothers, Red Zone Rogue, Main Deck. Okay, I don't give a fuck who you have content dropping from. I don't fucking care. Okay? And a bunch of other content creators as well. I don't care. Why are you telling me this? Do you think I give one shit about any of these assholes? I sure as fuck don't give a fuck about my channel. Yeah, and I'm sure they don't give a shit about mine. is what I was trying to say. It just rubbed me the wrong way, which doesn't take much lately. Um, speaking of that, last night, the Queen and I, all right, and we decided to take my mother-in-law out to a country club. We had a gift card. I had $100 gift card, and I said, you know something would be kind of nice. Here, let me just adjust this a little bit. There we go. My wife buys me these shirts with long sleeves, okay, in Florida, okay. So this shirt was actually a long sleeve shirt. Well, I cut the sleeves off because it's too freaking hot. Even in the winter, it's too warm for a long sleeve shirt. I think I wear a sweatshirt maybe 5 days for the entire day, maybe 5 days a year, because usually by noon it's 70 degrees or 68 degrees, and I'm back in my I take the sweatshirt off, I got a t-shirt on, I'm good. Maybe it's that northeast blood that never leaves you, the mud that runs through your veins, living in the cold weather for most of your life. I don't know. Who knows? So we make reservations at the country club, and we decide to go and take her, and because it's nice to take. My mom was 80 something years old, and she likes to go out and we chat about this, that, and the other, and so forth and so on. Well, I'm talking to my mother-in-law and my wife and so forth and so on. And I watch my wife looking at the table next to us. And this table, three people, and three older couple, because we live in the villages, okay? And the villages is the retirement capital of the world. For some reason, they said it was the STD capital of the world because they think they just run around and it's hedonism here. But those rumors are not true, okay? Listen, it's Disney World for the elderly. There's just so much to do, from golf to swimming pools to bowling to concerts in the park all the time, and it's just a party every single night here. Okay, and when you get that age, you know what? Tomorrows aren't guaranteed, like we always say. So we're sitting there in the country club, Nancy Lopez, and they keep on looking back, and they're going, and my wife catches wind of this. Now, my wife is probably the sweetest person you'll ever meet. She will help a stranger across the street. Her job, okay, what she does for a living, has been helping the elderly. She has always been in medical services along with my daughter, who they make it their mission to help people, okay? Kindest soul in the world, okay? And I'm gonna go on, and I'm gonna veer off a little bit. When we first got together some 40, 30, whatever years ago, okay, I was living out of my car, okay, care less, okay, just typical guy stuff, where I end up. We got together, and she goes, "Why don't you stay here, okay, with me?" I go, "Okay." And I brought in 2 plastic bags full of clothes, okay? Now, when I tell you that in those plastic bags, when she opened it up and she started going through it, she was like, she looked at my underwear, there's holes in it and stuff like that. Well, this is getting thrown out. She threw my freaking highlight shirt out, but, I understood. She goes, "How old is this?" I go, "Well, I was playing highlight, and, this is when we were up in Connecticut." She threw that out. I must have had jeans with holes in them, and, shirts and stuff like that. And when she got done, there were 3 pairs of underwear, 2 pairs of socks, because the socks all had holes in them and you couldn't match them. A couple t-shirts, sweatshirt, a pair of jeans. I think that's about it. Okay, I mean, out of 2 trash bags full of stuff, and threw all the stuff away. And I go, "What are you doing? I got no clothes." She goes, "Yeah, you're right. These things are shit." She went out, bought me all new clothes. And that's the type of person she is. But let me just say this: you cross her family, the claws come out, and it's a whole different person. So they kept looking over, and finally, one of them looked over with this look at the stain, and my wife turned around and said, "Is there a problem?" And I didn't notice any of this because I'm too busy talking to my mother. And I'm like, "Okay, what the hell's going on?" She goes, "Oh, no. We were just wondering what my mother-in-law was eating." And my mother-in-law turns around. She goes, "Oh, it's the veal loaf. Veal meatloaf." And she goes, "Oh, we just didn't. I couldn't figure out what." That's not, my wife was like, "No. That's not what you were doing." Okay. And the one lady goes, "Oh yeah, I've had that before, right?" Then how would you not know what it looked like? So that got her rattled up, and then we finished dinner. I just turned to her. I go, "You know something? You always talk to me because when somebody starts, I'm somebody I'll run. I'll go, okay, you got a problem? I'll take you right outside and out." And then she goes, "I don't expect you to behave like that. I don't expect you to be like that. You are supposed to be, X, Y, and Z." But boy, I go, what happened to every time we go someplace and somebody looks at you the wrong way or so forth? Because my wife is a very beautiful woman. Or somebody says something to her, and the hair on my back goes up, and it's like, I expect better of my family. But you, she goes, "Well, people aren't allowed to talk about my family," or but no logic in it at all. But it kind of goes to show you that especially around here, the villages, and I'll tell you this other story. So I go down to the Publix because I had to pick up some things for the Queen. I get out of the car and I start walking, up the side, and there's an empty space, and I'm walking, and this guy in the truck beeps at me to get moving so he could park in the space. I mean, I'm walking. I walk through there. First of all, he wasn't behind me, and he just comes up and then starts beeping. And I turn around and I go, "What?" I go, "Wrong guy to beep at, motherfucker." Pretty much. Okay. And hey, Tam, I was telling everybody about your fist fight yesterday.
Told her I hope her coffee tastes bitter.
Huh?
Said I told her I hope her coffee tastes bitter.
Oh, she told her she hopes her coffee tastes bitter. But if I did that, I'd be in the wrong.
I didn't lay my hands on her.
You didn't lay your hands on her.
Snooty tooty people.
So now I turn around and I go. I didn't say what I said, but I turn around and I go like this. So he starts laying on the horn. I go, "What is your freaking problem?" He takes the truck and comes this close from hitting me. I said, "Oh, hell no." I go up to his window and I punch the side window. I go, "Roll it down, get out of the car. Let's settle this like men." And then I forgot what he was screaming at me for. Just screaming at me. I go, "Get out of the car." I go, "You got a problem? Get out. We'll settle it right here." And I was going to kill him. I was actually physically going to kill him. Drives around. Right? He just leaves because he knew at that point that I was about ready to tear the door off the hinges. Drives off, takes a right, and I just go, oh, the hell with it. So I start walking to the thing, to the store. So I come up to the stop sign to go across to go to Publix, and he comes racing up behind me and slides on his brakes, slides, and misses hitting me by this much. And that was it. That was it for me. And pounding on on his windshield. I go, I'm going to rip your windshields, your wipers off. I'm going to tear this thing apart. Get out of the car. Takes off. All over because I didn't walk fast enough. That's the kind of people that you have here. Okay? Big, brave guy, and this big, I mean, this truck was enormous. Had to be one of those $80,000 trucks. And, the people around here are very entitled. Very, very entitled. And I can't stand that. And it just makes me think, even more people that are in this board game community, because, we've run into some keyboard warriors lately. And I get to the point I go, and I've said this 1,000 times, and I don't want to harp on it. It's just society is lost. Lost. When you could do anything and say anything and do anything. And you know something? If he got out of the car and I whacked the shit out of him, okay, I'd be in the wrong. Okay? I would be in the wrong. But him running up and trying to hit me with his truck, he didn't do it. But, it's that whole, I'm so brave as long as I'm hiding behind something. And then, of course, the ladies were like, getting back on subject, were like, oh, no. Denying that they were talking about something that we were talking about or making comments about us, because they were. And then my wife, and we were getting up to leave, and my mother-in-law's kind soul. She just, hope you enjoy your meal. Goodbye. Walks by, and there's the doorway. Goes through the doorway. My wife was just at the corner of the doorway, and then when my mother-in-law came by, she stepped right into the doorway, and the two little biddies were and they caught my wife's eye, and my wife caught her eye, and she went, you just can't help it. People cannot help being idiots. And if you got something to say, say it. Say it. Say it. And we were talking about this on the way home. Because, I've run into people in this business that'll run their mouth, but I get in front of them, oh, they change their tune. Real tough guys. This little squirrel podcast up there. There's a guy that, behind my back will talk and pretend he's like the nicest guy in the world to everybody, but he's the biggest piece of shit on the fucking planet. The other guy in the podcast is a good guy. And then there's been other people that I've had run-ins in with that, think they're, that I don't find out about things when they run their mouths. But people come back to me, and it's all brave when you're and it drives me nuts, because if you got a problem, or everybody's trying to compete, everybody is jealous of this one, that one, or the other, or so forth and so on. Why is this guy doing better than this guy or that guy, or something like that? And you can never understand that shit. But I would rather just swing it out and then talk about it later. In the old days, and we were talking about this on the way home. And I go, and I'm turning my wife at her because I'm giving her shit. I go, boy, if I did that shit, I go, you'd be looking down on me and disappointed in me, as you always tell me, and this, that, and the other, and so forth and so on. And she goes, your problem is, and this is where she starts lecturing me. Your problem is you have this belief that you just go out into the parking lot, swing it out, okay, and then shake hands afterwards. I go, well, that's the way it was when I grew up. She goes, well, it isn't like that anymore. She goes, I watch TikTok. She goes, now that it's this, they all gang up on one person and this and that, and I also said, I go, well, you know something, since the world's gotten so smaller with all these devices and stuff like that, I go, is it really that the world got smaller and all this stuff is just happening now? Or has this happened all along? It's just the world was too big to really know about it. Have people always been this way? I just can't stand cowards. I always enjoyed when somebody said something respectfully. Hey, if you're going to write something, you're going to write something from your keyboard, you go, hey, Rom, you know something? I disagree. This game is not any good. Okay? And here's why I think that way. It's okay that you like it, but I don't like it for this reasons. Okay. Number one, I'm not really going to care. Okay. Number two, you did it respectfully. But when they start off with, you have no idea what you're talking about, blah, 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 very aggressive. It's even in the VR world. It's really funny. I was playing cards, and I love to play poker, but boy, you get some of these guys in there where they try to antagonize you any way that they can, and they start MFing you and this, that, and the other. I don't know why I abbreviated that when I've just been swearing my brains off this entire stream. But, they'll just run their mouths. And you sit there and you go, my God. And then all of a sudden you hear, yeah, Ma, I'll be down for dinner in a minute. And you go, is this what it's all come down to? Is this how it all goes down? And I just can't stand that type of person. If you got a problem, talk it out. If you can. Okay? If you disagree with someone, talk it out. I can't stand the fake, the phony, it doesn't matter what generation it is. They're always there. It's in board gaming, it's in video gaming, it's in farming, it's in the villages here, it's in every place that you can imagine. People are just not kind. A majority of them. There are good people. Just like like I said, in the board gaming world, there are a ton of good people, and I always try to name them off and blah, 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 blah. It gets old. You can only bang that drum so many times. But as I'm downsizing things and getting things ready, matter of fact, today, I'm getting ready. I'm going to start work here. We've already started over on the other side there. And I'm getting ready to just give it one more push. And if that doesn't work, it's time to go. Time to hang them up, go out. I'll do some farm videos here and there, and that's about it. I never got social media. Hold on, I gotta put on my glasses. You make an old guy put on his glasses. Play till it hurts. What's up, my brother? I never got social media when they're all antisocial on it. Yeah, it makes no sense. Good morning. I notice social media in general label their opposing group they hate or put words in your mouth that never was. I just ignore these keyboard warriors. Yeah, it's just to antagonize. There's just so much hate. and it's very rare. Like, particularly, like I said, I try to play poker for about an hour a day. Good morning, Shin. I try to play poker about an hour a day. I haven't been putting the headset on as much this week. It's just been busy with some of the things I'm trying to accomplish and get done here. And then I've got 3 more games I've got to review. I've got to figure out. I've got to put together stuff and so forth and so on. I'm going to try to get a couple of the videos done. And then I've got to finish a couple of playthroughs that I did that I'm enjoying. I'm taping those this week. So, I'm trying to think where I was going with this. Oh God, I forgot. I just lost my train of thought. Well, that happens quite a bit. I guess I'm just old. I think what I was getting to was the fact that I just don't know anymore. I think I was talking about the very few. My headset. That's what I was talking about. Sorry. So I sit back and I keep my microphone off and I just play cards. And then you run into the table where people are playing stupid, but very rarely you will run into a bunch of different type of people and everybody's just talking and having a good time. It's all they want to do is just have a good time. I don't understand why it's a constant thing where people got to get on the internet, whether you're playing Call of Duty or whatever. You suck. Blah, 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 blah. Just have fun. Hey, you got me. Cool. Man, you're really good. I'm going to try to at least get you once. And just have fun. Don't take it so, it's not your whole life. You have so many other things in life, and I scratch my head. I scratch my head. I don't get it. Oh, my knee is killing me today. Oh. I got racquetball tomorrow. And I get to a point where I think I just get so disgusted. And that's one of the reasons why after 10 years of doing this, there was a point where I was kind of like, maybe it's time to hang it up. Maybe it's time to hang it up. From year 8.5 to now, especially, very few people subscribe. A lot of people watch the videos. And, I started having doubts about what I was doing. And like I said, it's like it's a different culture. It's not what I had hoped it'd be. 10 years ago, if you got somebody on there that just kind of went, you suck, you were like in shock. It was like, and you took it personally. Now it's like every other person, and it's just like, okay, it's just the culture of what's going on. It's not so much me. It's everybody gets these stupid idiots. And you kind of deal with it, and you just can't stand them to begin with. And you get to a point where you just kind of don't care. So, like I said, I'm at that point where I'm redoing things. I'm getting things done. I'm going to have some fun. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm walking away. And I don't care. I don't care. There are other things in life that I want to do and enjoy. So that's kind of where it is. And I was talking to some people in the industry who are all, matter of fact, they had gotten a hold of me, and they're very concerned. One of the problems I noticed, people are fighting to be so right, no matter the facts. Yeah, that's the thing I don't understand. You can lay it out, you can have signed documents, you can have everything you can, and they can't stand being wrong. And does it have something to do with our food, our intake? Are they not wrong about this stuff? And it makes me wonder. Logic is out the door. Logical, intelligent discussion does not exist. Okay? I listen to, matter of fact, at night when I'm laying in bed and I got my headphones on and my PlayStation going, I'll play a couple games and then I'll go on to YouTube and watch some videos. And I like to watch Stephen A. Smith, who is kind of down the middle. There are things that he says that I don't agree with. But I respect the guy so much because he's not afraid to say what he thinks. But he also listens. He doesn't pretend to know everything, but he listens. And that type of logic is dead nowadays. You know? And you don't know what to believe with anything anymore. Okay? You know, it's kind of funny. That woman with the Epstein thing, she somehow gets hit by a bus. Okay? Somehow miraculously lives. In December, she writes, "Hey, I will never kill myself." And then a couple of days ago, guess what? She just killed herself. Okay, what's the truth there? Is that story really true? Are we going to let this fly over our heads like all the other stuff that has happened? You know, people being strangled by weights. Oh, he was lifting and lift too much money and somehow it strangled him to death. But he had a lot of information that we really needed. I mean, is this some kind of James Bond movie or something that we're living through? And it's funny because we look to the heavens a lot and we go, you know, please, dear God. A majority of us do, you know, no matter what God you believe in, and go, you know, please help us get through this. And Harlan Ellison said something that I started thinking about. I really, really started thinking about it. He says, a football player gets kicked the ball, okay? And he runs it back 105 yards, all the way to the end zone. He drops to his knees and he thanks God for thanks God for him scoring the touchdown. Okay? What about the other 23 guys, 21 guys? Okay? Or the other team there. Were they not in God's favor? Did God just decided that hey, you're my favorite guy, the hell with the other people? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, he didn't like the other 11 team that the kid bet. God doesn't worry about things like that. He really doesn't. And I remember listening to that and I'm going, you know, that makes sense. But, you know, you also have this fear in your heart. Conspiracies are the truth waiting to be revealed. Could be. Could be. Good one, Plato Hertz. It's so screwed up. It does. God gives everyone talent. Those who use it win. That's a great way to look at it too. I mean, you can look at it in 15 different ways. I just think sometimes I think that the universe is so vast. Okay? And he, she, it, whatever, has so much to worry about. Well, not even worry about. That he isn't going to focus in on one person all the time, the way we think. I think in my heart of hearts, you know, I especially when you come to the end of your life, like you know, I pretty much am. You know what? You wonder what's after this. You start thinking about it a little bit more than you want to. And all the things that you were brought up on, all the things that you stay true to yourself about, and things about that. You pray that everything that you know in your heart is right, no matter what it is. Or I'm not trying to tiptoe around here, but I'm trying to put this in a way that's not offensive in a way. I believe what I believe. And I was brought up to believe a certain way of things. My mom, God rest her soul. I wish I got to talk to her one more time. I hope she's up there and she's out there, and all the things that I hold in my heart are true. I pray to it. And I think sometimes when I listen to certain people or things that make sense, I try to put in my head that it's one of those things that another saying that I really believe. The greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was making everybody believe that he wasn't real. Okay? When you see people just murder people for no reason and things like that, and you go, I don't get it. Why? What was the purpose of that? How does that help in the universe? And if there's science and things like that, or this, that, and the other. Why was this person picked out? Why is this person this way? Why is you can't understand things. You'll never understand. Did you ever try to think? Did you ever sit there and just think for a moment in your thoughts? Okay, because I read a lot. And you read things, and you read different science fiction things, and I read fiction and non-fiction and so forth and so on. And I love to read. And have you ever thought to yourself, where's the universe end? Well, it's got to be, where's the end of the universe? Okay, if there's no end, how does something keep going? And where does it keep going to? And you could drive yourself mad thinking about something like that. You can drive yourself completely insane trying to comprehend the size of the universe. Okay? And you'll never know. Okay? You don't when you start grasping it, and then you think, well, are we the only people in the universe? No, there's no. Or are we sitting on somebody's thumbnail? I mean, did you ever think of that stuff? Are we so small? So small or so big or whatever? And do I hold a ton of universes on my thumbnail? Okay, when I cut my nails, oh, there goes the whole universe. It's too much to comprehend. Where did it all start? Well, somebody wants to say, well, the Big Bang. Okay, well, what was before the Big Bang? And what was before that? Well, we dug up these bones and... Okay, that's fine. What was before that? And before that? If it always was, and always will be, is there starting an alpha and omega to it? It's too much for the human mind. It's too much. And as I get older, I'm like, oh boy, I have no idea. But I just got to stick with what my heart tells me, what I was raised to believe, and I'll keep it in my heart, and do the things that I think that will just try to be good. But in essence, I've also thought, well, there has to be evil, because then good would have no meaning. There has to be light, because without light, you can't have dark. Or without dark, what's the point of light? Thinking where the universe begins and it ends is one mind melting thought. LOL. It sure is. If you're right, I think about it at times, what it's like, what's infinity. But I also try to focus on things I need in everyday life and the givens, rather than the conspiracies or things that aren't known. Boy, I don't know who you are, but well said. What the problem is? I do my day to day, and then I just try to take some time and just sit with my thoughts or read or something. And there are just times where I let my mind explore itself, more or less, or I explore things, because I'm always inquisitive. And yeah, these thoughts will come in, and it's not like I sit there all the time, with a giant, map and Sharpie trying to figure out the end of all things and equations. But what I really think is that these questions, as you get older, they do come up a little bit more. It's funny, it's amazing how a picture can just tell a billion stories. And I'll go a little further here. Silver Tiger, my brother. Good morning, Rob. You looking good. No, thank you, pal. I appreciate it. At the gym every day, giving everything I can. Not bad for a very old man. But to get back to this, I was sitting, and we were waiting. We had come home, and I took the dogs outside and so forth and so on. And my wife turns on the TV, and she goes, I got some things to do. I'd like a little background music. I go, oh, okay. So she goes to YouTube and she puts spring music, and now they have these AI pictures and everything, and they have this just like soft, like you're in a bookstore music, which I always enjoy because it reminds me of New Haven when I would go sit, and I would have in the winter or in the spring, and I would sit and just read a book, read part of it, and then I purchase it and bring it home, or buy a bunch of magazines or something and just sit there and just enjoy the ambiance of this little thing. Get a Danish and a soda or something, because I never drank coffee, and just enjoy the atmosphere, read, listen to the music, just soothing type of thing. Well, she's playing it, and there's this giant picture of this beautiful spring day, and the back porch is somebody's house with all these cherry blossoms and a fire going and stuff like that. And I'm looking, and it reminded me a lot of different places I've been and things I've seen. And just, it's amazing how you can look at one picture and just sit there in your thoughts and think of where you've been, what you've done. Boy, I wish I was there. That just looks so relaxing and peaceful. And just enjoy the moment, remembering, parts of your life, things that you did, things that you enjoyed, sitting under a tree reading comic books, sitting by a brook with a fishing pole. All these little itty bitty things just come through your mind as this just wonderful music. And AI has such can do such amazing things, like recreate certain images, which are just unbelievable. And then also, it's terrifying as freaking hell. I saw this thing where it showed they did this AI thing where this shark, this monster shark, just jumps up and tries to eat this boat while the people are on it. And I'm like, holy shit, is this real? And I'm looking, and then I look underneath the thing. It says AI. I went, you gotta be shitting me. And then I was watching. They recast movies, and you look and you go, is that a real actress? Is that? No, it's AI. I mean, it's getting scary to the point where you can fake almost anything now. Don't they have this thing now that you could put a bunch of words, lyrics, and then it'll create a song around it? When I think about AI, I think about the Terminator. I know, it's really. I mean, we're at that point. And then I was watching this thing where this one particular channel takes and puts songs. They take the comments on something and they turn it into a song, and they show the picture of the thing. And there was this. They made this very pretty robot girl, and then they put like rock music to it, and all the different things, and it'll say something like, hey, does moisture void the warranty on this? Asking for a friend. And they're singing it, and I'm like laughing my ass off. And then there's this one guy goes, we're almost there, boys, we're almost there. Why does she look drunk? Nice. Things. And some of the things people write are hysterical and funny. The things they come up with. And oh god. There's this girl that she has a really big mouth, and it's kind of terrible that they're making fun of her, but this song's going on. She wants to be an influencer, wants to put herself out there, and she puffed up her lips with collagen or something like that. So some of the comments were just funny as anything. It was like, her husband is never leaving. When you're like, oh god, I don't know. Sometimes you can get a real kick out of things, and then sometimes things can be just a little bit too cruel, and now they're making things where it's just almost too real. And oh god, the one that killed me was this thing just pops. These astronauts are on the moon, and they're looking up at the Earth, and they're going about their business. They go, yeah, can't wait to get home. And then all of a sudden, this giant space whale comes out of nowhere and just swallows the Earth. And you just hear the astronauts shit themselves. But it looked so damn real. It was just insane. And it was the stuff of nightmares. You used to have those nightmares as a kid. Stupid things and stuff like that. Now, they could just make your nightmares real on AI. And it's just, you just sit there in awe. I don't know if you should be in awe or terrified. But it's a funny thing. The one thing that makes me happy is that, I can always come on here and I can just be myself and not be AI, not be like the people that we talked about earlier. Phony and ridiculous and fame whores. And, for good, bad, or indifferent, I can talk to you guys and talk about things that are that maybe you want to say but don't, or maybe should. You know, I'm at the edge. Oh, if I get canceled, who cares? Who cares? I'm just going to go off into the sunset and not worry about too much. I got to change out my wallet soon. This thing's getting wrecked. Every time I go to a comic convention, I try to buy these stupid comic wallets. Because the covers, you know, I'll look at them and I go, oh, I remember reading that. I got a couple of reviews coming up. I just got this in from Fruxus Games. These guys have always been great to me. Castle Builder, which really looks interesting. Oh, there we go. And another game that I was really excited about from Jonathan. Fate, Defenders of Grimhelm. This really looks interesting. So I'm going to be opening this up this week. Take a look. See if we can figure that out. Also got this miniature game, which as I started reading it a bit, cracked me up. And it is from Bad Goblin. It is the 2-player starter set, Trailer Park Warlords of the Apocalypse. Now, don't let the art fool you. There is a lot of very cool game in here, in this box, and I'm trying to graft that. They also sent me this trailer that's got all kinds, 3D printed, and some things, a dumpster, with dumpster fire, and one of the first missions is beer run, and these are a bunch of stacked beers. So I think I'm going to throw a little paint on this real soon and kind of try to figure this one out and have some fun with that. Affordable games. So, we'll see what we can figure out there, right? Pups, you gotta go eat. I took them for a walk and you didn't eat. Oh, yeah, Gab. Okay. All right, my girls. How much time? Oh, we went 1 hour. Wow. I was hoping to go a half hour, but you know me. I could run my mouth. I think I'm going to go take a shower and then start getting some of the stuff done that I need to get done out here. And start my day. We'll be back live Tuesday as we take the pups for a walk like we always do. I'll let you know what's coming up, what's going on, how's it going. We got tons of videos coming up. And I hope you like what we're doing. Oh God, I think Aces and Armor this week. Well, I got a lot of stuff this week. What was the other thing? I got a bunch of stuff. Hold on, let's find out. I'll go on my phone. That's the best way to do it. Let's see. Friends, countrymen, content. There we go. Scheduled. There we go. All right. So, what do we got coming? Tomorrow, the 28th, we have. Arida, the paths we chose. I take a quick look at that and give you some thoughts on it and compare it to the other game there, Zaya. Then on Wednesday, we look at Aces and Armor. Thursday, we're supposed to be looking at VR fishing, but I'm going to have to move that out of there. And I've got to I've got to move that other game up front, the one that goes live there. We'll say VR fishing. I might throw another. I think I'm gonna tape something because I like doing the video game stuff too. And then we start our playthroughs this Friday. The Adventurer. We're gonna go through character creation, and then we have playthrough next week. Boy, I've got stuff all the way to the end of May. Here we go. All right. Great spending time with you, Rob. Well, thank you. Have a good rest of the day. You too. Sounds like a good lineup. Well, thank you. I hope you guys watch it because nobody watches the videos. But I'll keep doing them just because I enjoy doing them. I don't know. I'm trying to get to a certain number before I hang it up. Oh, well, that's enough. We have a lot going on. And we'll have another auction starting at the end of the week. It's very small. This is the last one because I just need to make a little bit more space and get rid of some excess stuff. And then, poop, then remodeling, taking all these stupid racks down and just getting things the way I want it and getting back to games that I really want to start, putting on the table. Subudio, things like that. Kingdom Death Monster, Ogre, all kinds of stuff. I want to start heading into things that, like I said, I have a plan. Things are going to get tough. Let's attack it. All right? So, my dear friends, until next time. It is your old pal Rob. I love you all. I hope you have a great Sunday. And we'll see you during the week. We go live Tuesdays and Thursdays as we do our morning walks. And I'm sure I'll run 20 minutes without even thinking. Because I don't shut the hell up. That's for sure. Love you all. Have a great Sunday. We'll see you soon.
This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.